Nailed it. Fucking tested. I was testing my dice cam yesterday. testing that I'd set up my dice cam correctly. Forgot to turn it off. Nailed it. All right, we'll keep that in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 95. Totes clean dice tray. Yes, that's right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 95 of Twitch Tales. Where did we leave off in episode 94? Well, Apis had been ambushed by the lady, let's call her, to be kind, the fiend, who had been leading a couple of demons through the dark woods, looking for people to ambush. We dispatched of the demons, almost lost Joey in the process. Mel managed to use her soporific spores to put to sleep the lady fiend, succubus-esque demon lady. And in the minute that she was asleep, we quickly tied her up, gagged her, made sure she couldn't cast spells, tied her hands together, and then woke her for interrogations. As Fancy was taking notes, she was very happy to see that you asked her, I think it was over 50 questions, wasn't it, Fancy, in the end? We ended up asking her question after question after question after question. Yes, no questions, basically nodding and shaking her head, until eventually we ran out of yes, no questions and wanted to ask her further questions. We threatened to kill her if she tried anything funny, and then took the gag out of her mouth and started asking her more open-ended questions. Through doing so, we learned that she was not exactly demon or devil, but she was not forthcoming on exactly what she was. We learned that she was working for a demon lord of some kind. The demon lord was in charge of opening the portal. The demon lord specifically was the Lord Orcus, which we later investigated and learned was the demon lord of undeath and wanted to rid the world of all things living. We learned that she was not here specifically for us, but that we excited her in the sorts of questions that we were asking, and she has definitely got us on her radar now, and has subsequently given our information to the demon lords. How did she do so? Well, when she grew tired of our questioning, she made a bite towards us, and knowing full well that everybody was readied with readied actions, one of them stabbed her through the chest, and she died with a grin on her face, knowing full well that upon death she just regenerates in the abyssal plane, where she can rejoin the war effort from the other side. So, she escaped our clutches by doing so. We moved on with Charlie and Joey to the town of Shadridge, and upon arriving in Shadridge, we were asked questions, clarifying questions, making sure that we were who we said we were and weren't shapeshifter demons. We were pricked by a stiletto dagger and watched for the blood that exuded once upon proof that the blood was indeed red mortal blood and not oozing demon ichor. We were allowed to enter the town of Shadridge, which is now a walled town. We caught up with the mayor and the corporal sergeant. We caught up with the mayor and the sergeant in charge of the military occupation of Shadridge. We learned that there are two corporals running different squadrons of various different teams in and out of Shadridge, trying their best to map the area north of Shadridge, the Great Expanse, and falling to the demons from time to time. We learned that the four sister villages of the elves had been overrun by some of the demon attacks, and so therefore had evacuated. Arachel has not evacuated, as it is the more fortified of the four sister towns, but the other three have mostly withdrawn, some of whom have gone back home to their other towns around the country, whereas some of them are currently seeking refuge in Shadridge itself. We went to find Edith, our friend who ran the apothecarist, and discovered that she had been arrested and thrown in a temporary makeshift jail cell, which is Sassy's repurposed pit over in the menagerie. She'd been arrested for refusing to hand over her stock of supplies and potions when the military came and took over. She sees them as not having the authority to demand things from her and basically calling them all highway robbers and thieves. And she was refusing to play along and play nice, even though she could be let out if she just promises to play nice. She seems like she's got little left to lose in her old age and doesn't care about ceding power to authority. So she's just living her best life. We then went to the Lucky Loot, an inn/tavern run by Gretchen, our friend the Uruk, the half-orc, where we were to be introduced to a solid player in the Demon War, a half bionic artificer, dragonborn ranger fighter, all-round demon slayer known as Copernicus Lightfang. Upon walking in, we saw him with his back to us, saw his half bionic arm scratching his head, a fairy on his shoulder, and we were introduced to him as Apis, my old friend. This here is Copernicus. And he turned towards us, and that is where we left off. Alrighty. So as Copernicus turns towards us, you see this very, handsome for a dragonborn. If you know what is aesthetically pleasing on a dragonborn, you see a blue dragonborn. Seems to be young adult, and he has a missing right eye that has been replaced by some sort of bionic ersatz eye. You also see that he's missing his right arm from about the shoulder and has also been replaced by a bionic arm. On his shoulder sits a very edgy fairy. Edgy in the sense that she's wearing very dark clothing and seems to be of a roguish nature, let's say. He turns towards us, extends his mechanical arm, and says, "Oh, please, call me Fang." And we grasp him by the hand for a good old handshake, and we notice that he seems to have as much dexterous control over this arm as he would a real one. Nice to meet you. I hear you've got some experience with demons. Might have a job for you in that regard if you're interested. His eyes go wide and he goes, "Always interested. What can I do for you?" At this point, the little fairy goes,
"Yeah, this is my voice. I'm Mini, and I'm gonna talk like this forever." And she says,
She doesn't. I'm just taking the piss because Wraith in the chat was the one who played Mini in a one-shot with me one time. So that's just how that's how I remember Wraith doing the character. What a neat voice you picked for the character, right? Throat lozenge, please. Mini says, what is usually a bit of French, Sylvan French. I don't remember what Wraith actually did for the voice. It was so long ago. So that's my glitter. So she's just going to be a little bit French, but a little bit deeper. At this point, she says, "Excuse me, what am I? Chopped liver? Like, I'm standing right here. You're not going to introduce me too?" And Gretchen says, "I'm so sorry." No, Russian. She says, I'm so sorry, Mini. Apis, this is Mini, part of Copernicus's team." And Mini goes, "Fuck, man, I'm switching between a lot of accents here. French. She goes, "Part of Copernicus' team. How about this Copernicus part of my team?" And Fang says, "I think you know that's not true, Mini. Anyway, this is Mini. I'm Fang. What can we do for you? What's the job?" Scottish. Perhaps we should find somewhere to speak in private. I mean, can do if you want, yeah. You got a booth for us, Gretchen? And she says, Russian. She says, yes, of course, let me clear someone out and I'll get right. And she comes around the bar and she says, you there? Glenn, move it. I need the booth. I know, Glenn, I know, but get up. I need the booth. Come on, move it. She picks up all of his stuff and starts to move him over to a table. Yeah, we walk over to this booth in the center of the not the center, in the very corner of the tavern. It's a little more private. It's not its own room, but we've got more privacy here than we would talking at the bar. Check the room for demons. You can do so if you want, but your ability, your primeval awareness. If you look for primeval awareness, it is. What's the X? Is TT_primeval? Is that it? No, I don't even know my own codes. Awareness. Fine, 50-50 choice. As an action, Apis can expend one ranger spell slot to focus their awareness on the region around them. For 1 minute per level of the spell slot you expend, you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present, blah blah blah. So you can do so, but as you can see by your little spell vine, that you only have 2 level 2 spell slots left for the day. You do not have any level 1 spell slots left currently. So you could spend one of your 2 level 2 spell slots to check the tavern for demons, if you want to, before getting into talking to the Dragonborn about demons. What time of day is it? It is late into the evening. It's probably about 6 p.m. give or take. We might want to save a couple of slots in case we get jumped in the night. That is fair enough. Can't ask them to help and then ask them to pitch for the job. Yeah. Might have a job for you, and then we can definitely ask them, like, what are your qualifications? Like, are you right for the job? We just checked the town for demons, no? No, we did not. We checked the mayor's house for demons. We wanted to see, are there anyone in the immediate vicinity of us? And the answer was no. We didn't check the entire town. All right, so we head to this booth. We're joined with Fang and Mini. I'm going to say that Mel is. I think Mel is not with us. I think she's outside. Probably in trying to find some flowers to enjoy. Also, Charlie and Joey were elsewhere for the town for the night because Joey had to take his spear to be tipped in silver at whatever her name is. There's a half drow blacksmith in town that is silvering our weapon for us tonight. Joey's over doing that. Charlie is over with the Colton's farm doing some druidic magic, trying to make sure that the plants are growing at a great enough rate to feed an army. And so we're on our own with Fang and Mini at the moment. So what are we telling Fang and Mini? What are we explaining to them? Am I just going to exposition cantrip the whole story so far? Is there anything you're leaving out? Is it just bullet points? How much do you tell them? You know about the demon portals, yeah? And Fang says, I'm aware of the demon portals, yeah. We'd like to put together a small strike team to close them, and we'd like you to join us on that team. Alright, I'm listening. Can we call them Mini Fang, if you want? We're going deep beyond enemy lines, basically, yeah. So, you fought Scottish. You fought demons before, I assume. And Fang sort of laughs and says, "Yeah, I've fought demons before, quite a lot. One of the reasons that I've got this is to do with the demons. So yeah, you could say I've fought them before. They're somewhat of an obsession of mine. In mechanics terms, demons are one of his favoured enemies. He has some levels in Ranger, and has taken demons as a favoured enemy, or fiends. And you, Minnie, you fought demons before? And she says, yes, Fang and I have been together for a little bit of time now. And you're in? I'm in. Right, well, we've told you our goal. What do you think that we'd need to achieve it? And would you need to be convinced that we could... and what would you need to be convinced that we can succeed at that? Excellent questions. Well, here's the thing. The demon portals, they're dotted around the Great Expanse. One of the missions I just came back from was working on triangulating where they're coming from. From what we can tell, there's not actually that many of them. There's like 3 or 4 demon portals outside of the big one. What we've heard of, what we've ascertained, is that the big one is over on the Lone Mountain. We can't get close to it though because of all the others. So what we'd need to succeed is several strike forces, not just the one. We'd need one team who's small enough in number, but nimble enough and capable enough in ability that they can slip through the ranks of the others and get to the mountain on their own, and then deal with what they find when they get there. It's a pretty big ask. I'm definitely capable enough to help with that. Mini is as well. And if the rumours are true about you, I'd say that you would be too. What we'd need in the meantime is other groups, distractions, units that can take out, or at the very least distract the forces of, the ones that are coming from the other portals. I'm of the opinion that once we're dealt with the big one, the small ones will close. Or at the very least, the small ones will be easier to close once the big one's done and the reinforcements aren't coming through. Have you heard of portal parameters? You say, oh yes, I know a lot about portal parameters. This is great. Well, basically, the demons that are coming through the big one are reinforcing the evil chaos in the area of the smaller ones. And so once the reinforcements of the demons coming through the big one ain't coming no more, then the parameters of the smaller ones are going to be easier to fix, easier to close. You said we can't get close to the big one because of the small ones. Are you sure about that? I mean, anything's possible, obviously. I'm just saying that the small ones make it difficult to get to the big one, so that's why we'd need the distractions, or we'd need some other people working with us. And that's where I think the Hobgoblins come in. We've got the Goblinoid banners to the north that are working with us tentatively on taking down the demons. I reckon if we talk to the Hobgoblin in charge, we get the banners involved, we can work together as a unit, and the thing that can keep demons down is organization of the enemy, essentially. Like, I don't know how much you know about the Blood War, but basically the devils and the demons have been at war for many years now. Decades, millennia, maybe even since the start of time. And the reason that the demons, although they have significantly more number than the devils, the reasons they have not overtaken and won yet is because the devils have much more organization. So we really need the organization of a devil legion if we're going to take out demons. So you mentioned we'd need several strike forces. Who else would you want to work with, or is there anyone you won't work with? I mean, we've got slim pickings here, Apis. Can I call you Apis? I mean, you can, yes, but I'd rather you call me some sort of code words if we're going to be dealing with demons, and I know that names are important. He says, yeah, that's why I prefer Fang. You can call me Archer. Archer. Well, we're dealing with slim pickings, Archer. Shadridge isn't exactly a powerful workforce of themselves. No offense to anyone here, of course. Even the knights, even the King's Guards, the King's Cross, they're not King's Cross, Royal Cross. Even the Royal Cross, they're not. I mean, they're good fighters. They're just not specialists like myself. That's why they hired me. That's why we got involved in the first place. So our whole job was to actually to hunt down you. Sorry? Minnie and I are in Shadridge because of you. You went missing, and they sent us in to find you. Was that the fake me? It was, yes. A fake you had gone missing. They didn't know it was fake you at the time. They thought real you had been here the whole time. Real you went missing. They sent me in with Minnie and a couple others as well. And he does like a symbol. You don't have proficiency in religion, do you? No, you don't. But you do have a +3 intelligence, so probably your passive religion is good enough to know that he does like a. It's not one of these sort of crosses because Christianity's not a thing, but like he does like a. He does like an acknowledgement or something with his hand that just kind of indicates that it's kind of like a rest their soul kind of thing, and you get the impression that one or more of his team died looking for you. So we were sent in to look for you. In the process, we found a demon that was a shape changer, posing himself to look like one of the hobgoblins, and we took him out. Long story short. Right, well, good job, I suppose, and here I am. Hand to the forehead and then upwards. Yeah, maybe. Something like that. He does something that I haven't fleshed out how every single religion works with like religious symbols and hand signals and things. But yeah, he does something like respectful that you recognize with your passive religion is like an acknowledgement of like rest their soul. So how many enemies are we talking about, and how are they being deployed? As well as it's innumerable numbers. Like the thing is, the bastards keep changing shape, so we don't know exactly who amongst us is trustworthy and who's not. I think for that reason there aren't actually as many of them as we think, but the point is they're trying to make us think that there's even more than there are. It could be that the majority of their numbers are made up from the sort of ranks of infantry and expendable meat sacks, the imps, the quasits, the Yugoloths if they're hiring mercenaries. There's the what are they called? The ones that look like fleshy meat blobs. There's a lot of them that are basically nothing. You can dispatch of them if you know what you're doing, and they make up the majority of the army. However, sometimes there's slightly more dangerous ones. We've got word that there may be a Glabrazu in the army ranks. We don't know. We're talking at least a few hundred. As for how they're being deployed, I think the majority of them are coming through the main portal, which is why it's important to close the main one as soon as we can. Is there anyone you won't work with? I mean, as long as they're capable and as long as I've vetted them, so then make sure they're not a demon themselves. Can we send the hobgoblins and the local armies to attack the small portals while we take the group of 4 to the big ones? I think that's probably the best port of call, yeah. I think that's probably the best action. Are the demons going to be easy to distract in order for us to get around them? Well, here's the thing. Demons are not to be underestimated for their intelligence just because they're chaotic. Just because they're chaotic does not mean that they are stupid. They cannot organize. Literally, they're incapable of organization. They're incapable of structural ranks. But they have a might makes right kind of attitude, so there's self-preservation kicks in and has them end up with some sort of semblance of a military hierarchy. It's not that they're respecting the order of the hierarchy, it's just that they know that the demons above them in the chain are stronger than them and can cause them immeasurable torment. And so they do as they're told, in that sense. So they cannot... So it might be difficult to trick them, but it's not difficult to, if you know what you're doing, utilize their propensity for chaos to your end game. Does that make sense? Is there any distraction that we could do other than people attacking them? If you can think of one, I'm all ears. We know some of them can turn invisible. I sensed an invisible imp in Fonderg and we managed to kill it. It was an imp. The hell would an imp be doing and working for working for the demons? And Mini says, I think they mean Quasit. Right. You're talking like colloquially. Yeah, imps and Quasits, different things, but yeah, I get you. There seems to be some odd ones as well. We met and fought a fiend lady on the way here who seemed to me maybe half demon, half devil, something like that. This is really... If she's half demon, half devil, that would be extremely rare. The demons and devils do not procreate under any circumstances, but they do sometimes use essences of one another. Look, I don't have the time to go into the entire blood war with you, but basically both sides have at different times utilized essences of their enemy within themselves to try and make forces or soldiers that are the best of both worlds and can give them an advantage over the other. It's theorized that the origins of succubus and incubus are from that unholy couplings, as well as cambions. Sometimes they're more descendants from succubus and incubus these days. There's also the Yugoloths, which are not exactly demons or devils. He starts asking more. Why did you think it was half demon, half devil? And you explain the reasons and everything that you went through with the lady. He goes, if she was trying to seduce you, I'd say succubus is likely. But succubus aren't exactly half demon, half devil. They're just outside of both. Does that make sense? They don't. Succubus aren't. Look, the origins of them is unclear, but we're not getting into that right now. What we can say is if she was a succubus and you killed her, she will be back and she will have a grudge. She will see it as her personal mission to win against you. And what that looks like with a succubus can be very unpleasant. I mean, any fiend can be unpleasant if they've got a personal grudge against you, but succubus can particularly hold a grudge. You heard the expression, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. The origin of that is to do with succubus. You shun one or ignore their advances, or somehow your mind is too strong to be enchanted by their ways, it will simply act as more of a challenge for them. They will find ways to make your life a living hell before then taking your soul to actual hell. Demons being chaos incarnate, do you think there's any way we can cause the infighting? Oh, for sure. That's one of the main things that prevents the demons from making any headway in the blood war, is the infighting. If you can cause one of them any sort of power promotion, then they will immediately fight for where their new rank sits within the other hierarchy, the hierarchy of them. Especially if you can take out anyone of power among the demons, then the ones that are weaker will then fight amongst each other for who is the next strongest to take the power vacuum that is now opened up. We got some of this lady's blood if you're interested. His eyes go wide and yes. Immediately his bionic hand comes out. You got it? What is it? Is it in a vial? She said that we could call her Sylvia, I think it was, from memory. She was very charming. She was able to convince my friend to go limp and almost get killed with a word. Minnie sort of catches herself giggling when you say that she was able to cause your friend to go limp, and she whispers something to Fang, who kind of smiles to himself, and he goes, "Not now, Minnie." She didn't seem too loyal to the cause, but she definitely didn't want to help us either. Definitely chaotic and very dangerous. Yes, they usually are. It's good to see that you're not underestimating them. She said that she reported to one of the demon lords, Orcus. And she said, he goes, "Yeah, I'd imagined that this was from Orcus. I was definitely getting the feeling of undeath coming from the demons in general. Everything that they're touching is raising the rates of necromancy in the area. The more the demons are in the area, the more the rates of necromancy will increase." Is there a way to kill a succubus permanently? There's lots of ways to kill fiends permanently, yes. You kill them with certain sacrosanct, what's the word? Sacred? You're no use. You kill them with certain weapons that have been holied. They can be killed for good. You kill them with certain rituals in place. You can prevent them from reforming. You can simply take their soul before it disappears from their body, if you have some way of capturing a soul. What else? You can kill them on their plane of existence. That's obviously the most dangerous one, because it requires actually going to the underworlds. We're expecting her to come back. We're on her radar, and she likely told Orcus about us. Yes, most definitely. She named the demon lord Orcus as utilizing the portals. I assume you've heard of him. Oh, very much so, yeah. Is it succubuses or succubi? Succupides. Succupides nuts. I'm good with giving him the blood unless we got better plans for it. Do we let him have the blood if you want? Do you trust this guy to handle the blood? Are you going to hand over the vial of blood? You can put yes, no emotes in the chat. Can we capture a few souls? Can we capture a few souls when we close the portal? Maybe we can learn a few things. You can try, if you know how to capture a soul. Alright, mostly yeses, but definitely a few no's in there. Ask what he wants to do. What would you be able to do with it? Because I'm fascinated to learn what she is, and with demon blood you can learn a hell of a lot of information if you know what you're looking for. How do you know what you're doing? I've studied this stuff. Trust me, I know magic, and I made these. And he gestures to his arms and uses his bionic arm to point to his bionic eye. I made these. I'm happy. I'm very good with tinkering tools. In mechanical terms, he also has levels in Artificer. He has Ranger and Artificer. And, because it will come up later, he also has levels in Fighter. He's a 3-way multiclass. Would the blood help figure out how to kill her properly? Oh yeah. In order to know for sure how to kill her properly, I'd need to know for sure what she is. I do think he'd be able to tell us just enough, if not more than Edith could. Yeah, Edith is a potion maker specifically. She can tell you things from a potion making standpoint. This guy is an artificer and a ranger with a fiend specialist. He would definitely know more than Edith would regarding demon blood. Give it over one last thing to Horde. Sure thing. Alright, so we go over to this one. We get the black one here, and we hand it over, and we delete it from the inventory. What a cool inventory overlay, by the way, everybody. Check out this awesome overlay. Isn't this an awesome overlay? You've got all of your features here that are all interactable. You've got your fighting page over here, which is totally interactable, and you can switch different things out. You got this thing where you can move stuff around in the inventory. How cool is it? If only there was some kind of award ceremony that was happening later this year where you could vote for different overlays or various different elements of a TTRPG that you enjoy, like best DM and such. So maybe you could go to Crit Awards and vote for Robert Hartley GM in various different categories. I nominated Twitch Tales or something. Nice. This was this year that we launched this overlay. Yeah, but it's still a cool overlay, and people should still nominate it. It's up to the Crit Awards people to decide that this is not applicable. They can still go in there and vote for it. It might get through. They might not realize. The last overlay was just as cool. It was. Well, it wasn't. That's why we've got a new one. Like, by definition, if it was just as cool, we wouldn't have spent all of that time and effort and money on making a better one. But it was very cool. This one's even cooler. All right. So you hand over the vial of blood to Fang. His hand comes out. He takes it in his bionic arm, and he looks at it first. You've now lost him entirely from any conversation because this is far more fascinating to him. He's going to spin it around in his hand for a few minutes. He's watching the viscosity of the blood and how it moves within the vial. He's also, you can see, slightly tapping on the vial itself to try and ascertain exactly what it's made out of, like what kind of silica content is in this glass and things. He needs to know the chemical properties of the glass in order to understand how the blood is interacting with it. He's moving it back and forth ever so slowly to see the residual drip down the glass and whether it sticks to the glass or whether it seems to move freely within it. He's obviously looking for particulates as well and seeing if he holds it real still for a good 3 minutes. He just stares there in silence. And Mini says, "You know you've lost him now, right? There's no talking to him for the next half an hour at least." He's checking it out. He's watching it. He's seeing if anything settles at all once it's stayed in it completely motionless for a while. With his bionic arm, he's able to just basically have some motion stabilization with it, so it completely is not moving. Right, I understand the fascination with another species. I was the same with dragons a few years ago. And Minnie says, "Is that right? You have an obsession with dragons the same as he does. What did something happen to you same way to him? You lost an arm to a dragon or something?" Say, "No, I didn't lose any limbs to it." You show your limbs. "But I did lose some family, and yeah, I certainly understand the obsession of trying to know everything there is to know about your enemy before tackling them. I was actually captured by a green dragon earlier this year." Holy shit. Yeah, it was a bit of an ordeal, but we managed to kill him, and you killed the dragon. Yeah, you did. I killed the dragon. How about you, Minnie? How did you two meet? Well, I'm trying to remember now. Wraith, can you help me out? How did Minnie and Fang come to actually be working together during that one shot? I feel like Minnie and Fang were already working together before the one shot started, right? You got hired by the Royal Cross. I remember that much. The Iron Cross, I think they were the sort of SWAT team aspect of the Royal Cross. But I can't remember whether that's where the two of you met, or whether you were hired independently, or whether you knew each other before. Just so you know, by the way, despite our obsession with dragons, we have no animosity to Dragonborn. Your words seem to fall on deaf ears because now he is shaking. He's activated some sort of vibration element to his mechanical arm, and it's you see that it's he's watching something within the blood itself, seeing how it moves and stuff. He's not even listening to you. Can't remember either. I think we knew each other in name only at that point. There you go then. He says. Minnie says, "Fang and I, well, we haven't known each other that long, but it feels like longer once you've been through some things. We got hired by the Iron Cross to come and investigate your disappearance, and we travelled together. We made our way to Shadridge. We met with a druid lady, and you say Briar, and she goes, "Oh, you know her? Yes." We met with Briar and a couple others. And we investigated. We got attacked by some traps that burned Briar's face. You see, is that she got burned by a trap? Yes, she. There was a trap with radiant sort of moonbeam light within it, and the light prevents shapeshifters. And forces shapeshifters to return to their usual form. And so Briar was unable to wild shape after that. She has this scar on her face. It's pretty hideous. Yeah, well, would we say hideous? Oh yes, it's pretty ugly. The guy that was with us got well, he wasn't with us at the time, but he was missing a hand, posing as a hobgoblin without a hand. Said he'd lost it in a fight with a demon, but in actuality he was a shapeshifter that had a demon himself, and the scar was on his hand and he couldn't shapeshift whenever he was scarred like that, and so chopped his own hand off in order to shapeshift again. Just, I mean, say what you want about the demons, their level of commitment is impressive. Wraith's character didn't save her from the trap, exactly. Wraith's denial still points to guilt. We just caught up with Briar. She's down in Fondurg now, and she's doing as well as can be expected. Yeah, I hope she recovers from it, finds a way to fix what's going on. She was hiding in a box for days before we even met her. Not my fault, not my problem. Yeah, Briar just needs to cut off her face. Easy. Do you know if any healing magic can fix that sort of thing? You'd have to talk to a healer. I don't know the first thing about it. Well, we left a bunch of diamonds with her, so if the diamonds fix everything, yeah. Big diamond necklace, it'll distract the eye from the ugly face. Not what I was saying, actually. Also, stop calling my friend ugly, please. Okay, touchy. Oh, jeez. I'm saying if they can cast some sort of restorative magic for which diamonds are a component, they have the diamonds to do so now. What are your skills, Mini? What are my skills? Okay. Well, I can do this, and she disappears from the shoulder of Fang, and appears right behind you, and you feel this like little needle sticking right towards the back of your ear, just right behind the jawbone there. And she goes, I can get behind people real easy. And you're like, okay, that's scary, but useful. And then she disappears from there and reappears back on Fang's shoulder. Seemingly just disappear, like her body seems to disappear with the dark cloak and the dark robes that she wears. It seems to disappear into the shadows of the bar and then just appears in other shadows. Please don't stab me. That'd be great. Don't give me a reason to. Okay. If you don't mind me asking, how did you find yourself on the material plane, Mini? And she goes, I kind of mind you asking. It's a bit of a personal story about my family and things, and I don't want to get into it with a stranger. Alright, that's entirely fair. Is there anything, like, do you have magic? I don't really use magic so much as more than just, my fairy magic, but I'm really good at hitting things. Hitting things? Yes, I can cause people to suffer pain at the hands of my hands. Right. Okay, well, lift your hand up. She didn't prick the skin. So, nothing, like, you didn't... Do you use poison? I don't remember. Does she, she's not a rogue, no. Does she, she's a shadow monk. She can disappear into shadows and punch people. Hence, cause them pain at her hand. Does she have... She doesn't use poisons and stuff, does she? She just likes to smash things, yeah. What do you hit them with? And she says, I just told you. I cause people pain at the hands of my hands. You just punch things. I mean, you say that like it's and you go, I mean, there's no offense meant, but like you're tiny, and before you even finish the sentence, she has darted across the table, not disappeared into shadow. She's darted across the table and is just wailing on your sternum. And you, ow, ow, ow. Okay. I didn't mean that you... Oh, you've got some power behind the... Oh, ouch. You take a few hit points, but not enough to worry about. She was pulling her punches, it seems. She was... Don't underestimate my size just because I'm tiny, huh? And then she disappears into the shadow again and reappears on Fang's shoulder, who is now spinning his hand around like he's detached the he's turned his wrists into ball bearings essentially, and he's spinning it around like a centrifuge. Do we have an empty jar in our inventory to put Mini in? We have a dice box. We've got a mess kit. We have some empty vials, but she won't fit in a vial. We no longer have the box that what was her name? Daffodil? Nope, not Daffodil. That's Sneaky's character. Some flower. She was named some kind of flower. In the Feywild, where we met the character played by AJ Winters. And she was in a box. A box that would contain fairies and prevent them from using their fairy magic. We had that box for a while, but we gave it up. Picnic. You know, that flower that everybody knows. Picnic, yeah. We no longer have that box because we gave it to the Merry Gentleman, I think. So no, unfortunately, we can't put the fairy in a box that would contain her. I've met a few fairies now. I wouldn't dream of underestimating you. Ow, it's so pain. Like you really target particular areas. Yes, I know. So it seems you're quite skilled. Where did you learn to fight? In my past, I had reason to learn to fight. Let's leave it at that for now. Okay. Would it be assuming that all fairies know each other if... Oh, so that's not in quotation, sorry. Would it be assuming that all fairies know each other if we ask her if she knows Bobby? Probably, yeah. But there's also a chance she does. Was Bobby a fairy? He was a cherub thing? Yeah, Bobby wasn't a fairy in the same sense of like the species fairy. But he was a fey creature that are sometimes all colloquially referred to as fairies. He's from the fairy realms, the Feywilds. Have you ever heard of anyone called Bobby? I mean, I've been alive a while. I've met a few people called various names. Bobby, probably. I don't. Maybe could I get more information? Are we talking about a man, a child, a human, a fairy? Don't exactly know what he is. He's definitely a fake creature. Male, I think. Calls himself Bobby. Calls himself other names as well. Little shit. That does not narrow it down. No, unfortunately, I mean, the names that the fairy gave you is probably not his real name anyway. This one is especially annoying. You'd remember him. Well, I don't. Maybe I think you underestimate how annoying a lot of fairies are. Ask how we track down fake piss. Speaking of fake creatures, there was the one that you were tasked with finding, the fake me, that I've been calling Fopis. It apparently was a fake creature, a changeling of sorts. Yes, I've heard. Did you learn any more information about where it went or how to track it down? Because he has something of mine and I need it back. Like your identity? You can't take that back. No, an actual item, an object. He has. I need to find him. Oh, well, from our tracking, he was still to the north, I think. He ran north of Shadridge and escaped that way, but then again, he is a changeling and could be anywhere, so unfortunately, no. Okay, and you can't track him? I mean, I can try, but that's not our job right now. Our job is close the portal. How important is this item to closing the portal? Well, the magical braces that would help me to fight in the ways that I need to with archery, and they're also really good for communication, keeping in touch with the various different parts of the mission that are going to be... There's lots of moving parts, right? We're going to be employing all sorts of different units for distraction purposes, so having these braces would be useful for that. They could be essential to my survival. I'll also be less squishy and stuff, you know. She seems put out by that. And at this point, the centrifuge hand has slowed. And he stops. And then he can do a better one than that. There you go. And then sniffs it. He's moving on from the everything he can ascertain without opening the vial to now the things that he can learn from opening the vial and smelling it and touching it and all the rest of it. So he's still investigating it at this point. And he says, well, if we come across anything that would indicate that it is in the area, we can look out for your braces, I suppose. Don't drink that, you say as he opens it. You put your hand out to be like, don't drink that, and he only then does he seem to remember that you're there, and he goes, I'm not gonna drink it, I'm not an idiot. And then he smells it. Phorpus was given my braces when the crafter thought that he was me, and I'm sure I needn't explain why he's now convinced that they're his. Well, they are his. Well, they're not. Well, they are. Well, they're not. Well, they are. Well, they're not. Well, they are, because they were given to him. Fucking fairies. What was that? Didn't say anything. Right, I see them under mortal law, of which he is a part, because we're on the mortal planes. He was given them under false pretenses, so here in this plane of existence, that shit doesn't fly, and they still belong to me. If we were in your plane, then I probably wouldn't have a leg to stand on. And she says, that's why lots of us have wings. We don't need legs to stand on. Boo, Minnie. Boo. Yes, you'll have to get used to that. Anyway, he would see them as rightfully his, you would see them as rightfully yours. There's going to be arguments about this, I'm sure. Okay, well, all I need to do is find him, because then I'm sure I can convince him to give me them back. Well, I will help you to try and find him if it is not interfering with the rest of our work. Okay? Alright. Well, regardless of what you think about it, they're mine and I want them back. Okay? Good luck. Look, she's far less annoying than most of the fairies, you're lucky. Yeah. Let's get back to talking about the war, shall we? What have you learned so far? And Fang recocks it and says, right, definitely succubus. She is clearly Orcus bound, meaning that she is working for Orcus not because of just wanting to, but because he owns her in some way. You can tell that from the blood. There's a lot you can tell from demon blood if you're looking for it. He owns her in some way and she's working for him, which is unusual because Orcus doesn't usually use succubi. Anyway, she's basically a tool of war. To what end? Can't tell from the blood alone. What I can tell is her age and all sorts of other unnecessary pieces of information that I won't bore you with. But I can also tell you that she has reincarnated at least 3 times already. So she's not a stranger to dying and the process of coming back. It might even be that she uses that as a quicker way to get back to the abyss than to go all the way back to the portal. Sometimes demons use that because it's more convenient. It's unusual to do so if you're a low-level demon because getting killed does take some strain from those who resurrect you in the abyssal plane, takes some strain from the abyss itself, and so it's not worth doing so if you're a low enough level demon. They kind of punish you for it. But if you're high enough level, then it's worth bringing you back, and they don't think twice about it. So she's obviously high enough level, as it were, that she's worth bringing back. Is there a limit to how many times they can rebirth? Not particularly, no. As long as they're still useful, they'll come back. Right? Someone else, she said that someone was paying her in soul coins. Is Orcus in the habit? Whoa, okay. That's a devil thing. What? Payment of soul coins is a devil thing. Demons don't tend to pay with soul coins. They don't need soul coins. So does... Wait, that's interesting. So Orcus doesn't pay the people he owns? Why the fuck would he pay people that he owns? No, he owns them. He tells them what to do and they do it. So she said that someone was paying her in soul coins. I mean, she could have been lying, obviously. Don't put it past a demon not to lie to you. They're not bound by honor and code like devils are. But she's also potentially working for both sides of the blood war. I think there's probably more to her than is meat in the eye, as it were. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Maybe we'll be able to use that to our advantage if we can convince her that we can get her out of this arrangement with Orcus that she has going on. Yeah, possibly, yeah. Alright, well, she's not the concern right now because it'll take her some time to regenerate. You aware of the time dilation that can happen with different portal jumping? And you're like, oh yes, I'm very unfortunately aware of that. Hence the need for fake Apis to be here in the first place while I was in the Feywild apparently for several months. Even though I was only there for a few weeks. Days even. Right, well, the same thing happens with portals outside of the Feywild as well. Other inner planes tend to be pretty close to... pretty closely related to the time of the material. The outer planes can get a little bit more wacky. It's unclear how long it will be before she rejuvenates, but on average it usually takes several days, maybe even weeks before of like mortal plane time before they can come back. It really depends on which way the bias is going at the moment. Okay, well, shall we focus on what's more important then? Yes, let's. So, what is it that you guys, let's cut to the chase, what is it that you guys want from this guy? Is there anything else you want to do in Shadridge? Because otherwise, basically it's a case of let's get some rest and then head off in the morning into the Great Expanse. And start meeting with hobgoblins and arranging who's going to help us fight. The Archfey Council messed with the Fey bias. I'm not sure if the bias shift affects the demon ones. I don't think so, no. Each plane has its own bias. They're sort of like orbiting planets, I suppose. And you're shifting the relative proximity of those planets every time you shift the bias. Only powerful creatures like Archfey and Demon Lords can change the bias. Demon Lords can change the bias? They can, yeah, but it's not without consequence for them, so they try not to do it too much. So since she knows about us, we might want to strike quickly then. I would say so, yes. Just for my knowledge, remind me if getting close... Sorry, no, that's not question. That's not quotation. Just for my knowledge, remind me if getting close to the portal tends to slow down time a little. It doesn't. She'll be giving my information about me to her employers. She was impressed and curious of my abilities. As am I, it seems. Not a lot of people can survive a contact with a succubus without even being enchanted by them. You, forgive my saying so, this may feel like a very personal question, but when you're dealing with succubuses who are enchanting to say the least, this becomes relevant. You're not asexual, are you? And you said, no, I wouldn't say I'm asexual. You into women, female presenting people? Because that's usually the way that they try to get people of your persuasion. You say, well, we haven't officially gone over this as Apis before. You have tried to date a female presenting woman down in Fondurg one time. The date did not go particularly well. It was okay, but she didn't feel the spark. It seems like we don't really have a preference. Personally, think they could be bi. Feel that Apis is pansexual, panromantic. Yeah, I think kind of makes sense. I feel like Apis is pan bi omni. Yeah. You say, well, I'm attracted to people I find connection with. I kind of feel like Apis, the way that you've played them in the past, is sort of like pansexual, but also grey sexual. Probably like you don't really find. You don't go around like lusting after everybody. You're not hypersexual. Pan and demi maybe. Yeah. You say, I'm attracted to who I find a connection with, and he goes, that'll actually do you well with succubi. They tend to find easier prey among those who are hypersexual. And if they find that their presentation is not your usual inclination, they will employ some of their comrades. The incubi can take on a much more mask appearance if that's more your interest. So, well, just keep that in mind when she comes back, I guess. If succubus appear as a pit. Also, just been a little too busy with everything to find a partner or think about romance right now. You're like, yeah, I understand that. I understand that a lot. Anyway, a pit cubus. Let me have a look at my notes as to if there's anything more that he needs to tell you before we move on from this scene. Let's see. I think that's about all that we need for now. So he says, right, well, I just got back from a very grueling task myself over the day. Had to deal with some minor demons myself today. So let's adjourn for the evening, and we'll meet back here first light, and we'll head off into the great expanse where I will. I'll tell you on the way about the Hobgoblin structure, shall we? And we'll talk about the different banners of the Hobgoblins and how I think we can best utilize them. All right. Sounds like a good idea. As for the strike team, is it just the two of you, me and my giant bee Mel, or I've got two comrades with me at the moment that could help? He says the more people we have, the more difficult this is going to be. I suggest it's just the two of us and you, and your bee if you have one. It's up to you. I will let you guys decide as Apis who you want to bring with you, if any, but I will tell you the following. Joey is still recovering from some major almost being torn in half injuries. Like he's walking around because the cure wounds and stuff helped him, but he was almost torn in half and he's not up to the game. You also found that while you were fighting alongside Joey and Charlie, Joey is like a level, I think I put him at level 4 or 5. Charlie is, I think, a level 7, something like that, and you're a level 8. You get the impression from talking to him that Fang and Mini are both of a more equivalent level to yourself. If you bring along Joey, there's a chance he's more of a liability than a help. And the more people you bring along, the more people that I will have access to killing. And that will be on you. If you decide to bring Joey along, then yes, you've got another NPC, which could make the fights easier. But if he dies, his death is on your hands. Charlie is a slightly more capable fighter than Joey just in the sense of him being slightly higher level. But again, he's not up to the same level as you, quite. I could look him up exactly. I think he's level 6 or 7. So, up to you. You should decide who you want to bring along. It's going to be you, Mel, Fang, and Mini. And then you can choose to bring Charlie, and you can choose to bring Joey if you want. But the more people you bring, the longer the fights take, because there's more NPCs that I have to fucking keep a track of and all that shit. Also, there's potential for Mosh as well, but Mosh is currently working with the Hobgoblins and not around. We can fill Charlie in, let him decide if he still wants to come. I'm putting the decision on you, out of character, as it were. I'm making you decide, and then if you decide to bring Charlie, then Charlie will want to come, and if you decide not to bring Charlie, Charlie will decide not to come. But you have to make the decision whether you want me to be fucking NPCing everybody. Charlie could be beneficial, but I'd like to know for sure Joey can make it home safely, so you might need Charlie to help him get there. Joey, if you don't bring Joey, he will probably stay in Shadridge, so that you can still reference him, but he will be here to help the Shadridge effort. The druid could be handy, but a cavalier fighter not so much. Charlie can run messages for you, yeah. Charlie is a druid who can turn into... Can he turn into... I don't think he can turn into flying things yet, because he's... I don't think he's quite high enough level. One last thing, you've been in contact with the Hobgoblins. Have you perchance met a man called Mosh amongst them? Let me check if he has. He goes, yeah, I have. He's in the... what are they calling themselves? He's in the Indestructibles. What? Mosh, right? He's one of the Indestructibles. He's a human guy, but cursed. That's right, yeah. The Indestructibles. It's one of the Hobgoblin banners. They're made up of were creatures. They're immune to certain damages, and it's a whole thing. I'll tell you about it in the morning. Could we keep Charlie with us until the Hobgoblin meetup and then send him back with the plan to Shadridge? Yeah, we could do that, potentially. Take him for now. Do you know where they are? The Indestructibles. He'd be a valuable asset to the mission. I know him really well and I trust him, which is always a plus. Yeah, for sure. I'll take you. That's the plan anyway. I'll take you into the Great Expanse. We'll meet up with the Hobgoblins and we'll talk about which of them we can utilize, which of them we can trust, and get them on board with the plan and such. Yeah. Okay. Well, take me to the Indestructibles in the morning then, and we'll chat with Mosh. Will do. Alrighty, so that's the plan then. We tell Joey to chill out here in Shadridge, help out with the war effort as best he can, and then we take Charlie with us until such time as we can replace him with Mosh, perhaps. Maybe. Is there someone in the Indestructibles who responds to Benadryl? Something like that. Let's see if he knows. Benadryl? I don't think so. Sounds like a medicine. Belladel. I don't know them. I never got to know them so well, so maybe I'm afraid I wouldn't know. Is that another one you know? How come you know so many people with lycanthropy and stuff? Long story. Right. Well, bedtime, I suppose. It's great to meet you, Fang. And you, Archer. Great to meet you, Mini. And you. And then we head off to find a room. Do you want to camp out in the wilderness under the stars, enjoying the the great outdoors, keeping in mind that it is winter time? Or do you want to ask Gretchen if there's a room here? Should explain the change of plans to Charlie and Joey, ask them what they'd like to do? Yeah, we will do so. We're not with demons and stuff around, not in a war. Room, please. Get a room, get a room, get a room. Alright. We will ask Gretchen, does she have a room for us in this war situation? She probably does not, but let's see. Oh, she actually does. She goes, Russian, she goes, yes, I have a bed, not a whole room, unfortunately, but all of the rooms have had to have cots added to them for the war effort. But there is a cot available in one of the rooms. You'd be sharing with other soldiers. That should be fine, as long as I'm not outdoors. I just want to have a bed for the night. Right, you are then. Well, the room's yours. Do you need any money for it? I mean, she just sort of gestures to a tip jar. At the moment, the room is kind of paid for by the people who are already in it. So, like, if you want to help with the upkeep of the tavern, then, you know, Listerlock approves. It's really kind of an up to you how much you want to tip her for the room and the drinks that she brought you. Help brew some beet. She carried a manticore for us. She did. She makes awful beer. She does make awful beer, yes. How much money do we have? Let's have a look. You have 1 platinum on you. You have 61 gold pieces on you, and you have 40 silver pieces on you. And you have stashed 161 platinum pieces worth of money somewhere nearby, hidden in the woods. How much would a room normally cost? Good question. Stay at the inn. Somewhere in the vicinity of, with drinks, somewhere in the vicinity of 2 silver. Well, there's a lot of people saying gold pieces, a lot of people saying silvers, so we'll go somewhere in the vicinity. We'll do the overpaying for the room, still giving a nice tip, but not all the way to a gold. You put in 5 silver pieces, and she goes, very kind of you. Sleep well. No worries. She heads out. You head out of the tavern for now. Find the save the silver for. Oh my god, chat. We were told not to flash about silver. Yeah, the silver is a pretty sought after commodity right now because of the demons responding poorly to silvered weapons, and so silvered weapons are becoming a problem. Silver is becoming hard to come by. You head out. You find Joey, who's coming out of Anduria's. I remembered her name. Anduria's blacksmith shop. He doesn't have his spear in hand, so he's obviously just popped in to give her that so that she can silver it overnight for you. You catch him up with the plan. I've just met with Fang, blah blah blah, exposition cantrip. He says, I'm on board with that, good idea. You head off to find Charlie. You find him coming back from the Colton's farm. He's talking with one of the new farmhands you don't recognize, human boy, and you exposition cantrip Charlie, not in earshot of the human farmhand boy. You tell him the whole thing, and he goes, okay, cool, sounds good. I'll come with you until such time as you feel like you can go alone, and then I'll report the plan back to Fonderg. You head back, after reporting the plan to everyone, you head back to the inn. You have a long rest at the inn overnight in one of the cots. It is a room with about 6 people in it. You are the 6th of 6, and the others are all various states of inebriated, snoring, farting and making noises through the night. It is not the most pleasant, but it certainly beats sleeping outside under the stars in winter. Just give her the platinum instead. Jesus. That'd be like a week's wages. That fanboy is sus until further inquiry. Play the pan flute music to meditate before sleeping. Let's see how you go with the little pan flute music to sleep before. See if anybody can. Let's have a look. What's your pan flute? You are proficient in pan flutes. Your proficiency bonus is a +3. Your charisma is a +1. So this is going to be a +4. Jesus, terrible. It rolled off of the camera. But it was a 5. As is usual, below average. You get a 9 total on your pan flute, and you do a pretty bad job. And eventually one of them goes, "Oh, can you shut the fuck up?" Is it? "Oh, sorry, thought it would make for like meditation music." And he goes, "Yeah, well, don't need to meditate. I'm already sleeping." Okay. Piss off the soldiers trying to sleep. Yep. Prestidigitate the stinky room. Yeah, you use some prestidigitation magic to sort of clean out some of the stinkiness of the shared room here. Do we want to ask the dice anything? For those who are a little newer to this, the dice tab right here that you can see relates to the bone dice that are in your pocket. You have a little box that is etched Apis on it, a little fey box that is containing bone dice. Or, since I actually have some real bone dice now, but they are way too big for the box, you have a set of bone dice, and they are an augury tool. They are an ability to see the future in a very, very, very minor way. You can basically ask the dice a yes/no question, and they give you an answer. You have not used them at all today, which means that they are guaranteed to be correct in their reply. If you use them more than once, there is a chance that the reply is random, not actually correct. So do we want to use the dice at all before we go to sleep? Yes, but no, it takes too long, can't be asked. Can we pretend we asked the question? Yes, sure. Can we tell these where these guys have been or what they've been doing in the state of their gear? The soldiers that you're in the room with, yeah, most of them you can tell have just been wandering the streets, keeping law in Shadridge, essentially. Most of their day-to-day work is just keeping law in Shadridge. Wait, not bone-colored, made of bone? These ones are just bone-colored plastic resin. These ones are actually made of bone. They're actually made from the bone of a water buffalo. Wildebeest? Water buffalo. Water buffalo, I think they said. Yes, let's ask the dice a question because I want Rafe to have to take notes. As Apis, I'd like to ask a question. As chat, not so much because I don't have any clue what to ask right now. I don't think we'd even learned if we have that we have prestidigitation. We have used it Presti so far already. Is this how we discover we have it, by being frustrated with the filth in the room and it disappears with our thought? No, we have discovered that we have Presti and we have used it once or twice. A dream would be amazing right now? I bet it would. It's not going to happen though. What are we asking, everybody? Are we asking something of the dice, yes or no? We've seem like we've not got a great answer. We can also just kind of hand wave and say we've asked a question and we don't have to go through the whole minutiae of like the exact wording of it if you don't want. Are devils involved with the portals? That could be an interesting question. Ask the dice, can we sleep safely tonight? Is faux Apis in this plane currently? That could be a good question for the dice. Is the entity I refer to as faux Apis currently in the material plane? Can Fang and Mini be trusted is a good one as well. Do we want to ask about faux Apis? Do we want to ask about Fang and Mini? Fang and Mini. Fang and Mini. Can Fang and Mini be trusted? All right, we ask them something. We ask the dice something like that. We find a part. Like we go to the outhouse or something. We go to find a little bit of privacy where nobody can see us using these dice. Let's check at length. And we ask the dice. Can the creatures that I just met, who I refer to as Fang and Mini, be trusted to have my best intentions at heart or something? Words to that effect. I'm not going to worry about tricking you with wording here for the sake of moving shit around. Outhouse, don't drop the dice. Then you take these bone dice and you roll them. Okay. As the dice knock against the surface on which you are dropping them, as they bloop into the long drop. No, as you roll them on the seat of the toilet. As you can we see the dice? Sure. How cool. As they drop, each one bounces and invokes some kind of sensation in you. Visions and sights and smells and temperatures, emotions. You get hit with the squelching sound of a blade running through a demon's corpse, and the sound that accompanies of the demon screeching in pain. You get the warmth that comes from a demon bursting into flames, and you get you get an image of Fang's robotic arm, like grabbing you and pulling you up to your feet. You get the vision of a flittering of smoke shadow just kind of jumping over the battlefield here, there, and everywhere, just annihilating things around you. And little by little, image by image, sensation by sensation, you get the impression that the dice are telling you, wheel. Yes, you can trust them, is what the dice are telling you. Or that they have your best intentions at heart, or their intentions are aligned with yours, or something like that. The toilet has been prestidigitated. It's spotless. Yeah. There's some rather unsettling wheel visions in there. Oh yeah. You asked the dice, can I trust them with my current do our goals align, or something like that? And the dice said yeah, because they're telling you they are good at fighting demons and they will kill some demons alongside you, and you can trust them to help you in killing demons. Okay, go to bed, no more dice. Any suspicious smells from the dice? The smell of demon ichor. Yeah. You go to bed. At this point, you sleep. It is a long rest. So, bling, everything comes back. We're good. We're cool on hit dice rather. We regain the hit points that we lost from Mini punching us in the chest. We've got a hero point still from the start of the session. And the dice have reset. Everything is good. Cool. Do we ask the same question of the dice repeated 12 times? Sure. Yeah. Change one word every single time and see if, start doing some maths on it. Do some more panpipes in the loo. In the morning, you have a full English breakfast. Sure. Gretchen has arranged a full English breakfast, by which I mean a gigantic cauldron full of gruel, essentially, like hot porridgey slop that she's feeding to it's a nutrient slop that she's feeding to the people of the King's Cross, who keep calling it King's Cross. It's not a fucking railway station. The Royal Cross. She's feeding it to the Royal Cross, the army that are residing in town. She's got a couple of strips of bacon saved aside for the really important people, and she slips you a couple of strips of bacon because she's happy to see you back. The slop is not as bad as her ale. It's actually pretty good. You can add some sugar to it. She's got a little bit of brown sugar, and you add that to the top of the porridge slop, and it makes it edible. Dreams are Fancy's domain. She's going to be the god of dreams. Yeah, there's no dreams because Wraith's the one taking note today. Surprised if they had the ingredients for a full English this close to the front lines of a war. Yeah. Gruel, the staple of a proper English breakfast. Yeah. England, the country that took over something like 80% of the world's surface at one time or another in search of stealing everybody's culture, and then still has the blandest of foods. What was I saying? So you, man, I think I need to go on a break just to get my head straight. You wake up. Gretchen gives you some food. You also get given a notice from a messenger boy in town, who says that Anduria has items for you to pick up. You head back to Anduria first thing. It's barely crack of dawn at this point, but Anduria is already still hard at work, being that she's half elf. She doesn't need to sleep all that much. She's already gone straight back to work again. She's worked through most of the night, and she gives you your rapier, which has been silvered. She gives Joey his silvered spear. You pass Joey in the doorway, let's say, and Joey gets his silvered spear back, so you don't have to do any dropping stuff off for him. And then with the excess silver that you gave her, you also gave her a couple of an extra gold piece, and said, with whatever's left over, can you silver any of my arrows? So let's see how many arrows she has silvered for you. I'm going to make it 3d6 silvered arrows that she manages to get out of the leftover silver. Not bad. 3, 4, 5. That is 12. 12 silvered arrows. So I'm going to add it to the list here. Add it to the stock, and I'm going to say silvered. There we go. Look. So in the quiver, you add silvered arrows. Is there a silver? Let's have a look. That's kind of silverish, bright white. Yeah, let's make it bright white. There you go. So just to recap, as you put your 12 silvered arrows in your quiver, to recap what you have 12 silvered arrows, you have 7 tar arrows, which are arrows that you've previously covered in tar so that you can set them on fire at a moment's notice. So as part of the same action as drawing the tar arrow, if there is an open flame within reach of you, you can set it on fire and then fire a fire arrow. You also have a sleep arrow, which is it does the regular damage that the arrow would do, and then it casts the sleep at first level on the target and tries to put them to sleep. You have an entanglement arrow, which is it does the regular damage. No, sorry, this one does not do the regular damage of an arrow. It just instead casts entangle on them, on that creature. It's only, not the surrounding areas, just the creature you've hit with the arrow. You have a +1 masterwork arrow, which does +1 to attack rolls but not damage. And then you have some number of regular arrows. You don't know how many, but as far as you've managed to work out, you have a replenishing amount of them. The quiver seems to create regular wooden arrows for you. What are the silvered arrows good against were creatures? They are good against were creatures, yes, but they are also good against fiends. A lot of demons have resistance to non-magical damage made from non-silvered weapons. So by silvering your weapons, you have made sure that they can actually attack and cause damage to most demons and fiends without having to make your weapons magical for that. How many customers have had their gear silvered lately? She looks tired. She looks real tired. Quite a few, I'll say. Most of the army have been asking me for. I've got a backlog of weapons to be silvered. Some of it I get a break every so often, every time that the silver runs out, and I have to wait for them to get more in from Fondurg. So yes, quite a few. These took me longer than I thought. Your rapier took some time. The silver refused to stick to it overnight. I had to start with a base of copper over the rapier itself to bond, and then the silver on top of that to bond with the copper. I won't bore you with the the difficulties, but there was an electric process to try and get the ions of the silver to line up with it, and never mind, it's done, and it seems like it works, and I hope that it's still as sharp as it was. You look at it, you swish it around a bit, you can feel that there is a difference, like the weight of it is shifted now, the balance of it is no longer right at the hilt, it's like a little bit up the ways up the blade itself, but it's not enough to cause you an issue. I'm going to assume that in any downtime you're like practicing with the rapier to make sure that you're still up to scratch with the handling of it. It's a robber's done with keeping track of arrows quiver. Kind of, yeah. And then I ended up with 5 different slots for various different variety arrows. I'll also say as well that as you put the 12 silvered arrows in, your capacity for putting in regular arrows that you could draw easily while keeping a track of which ones are which is at a completion. You can't pick up a different magic arrow without it becoming confusing as to which one you're drawing, and then you could do so. I would add it to your inventory rather than the quiver, and then every time you draw an arrow, there's a chance that you are drawing the wrong arrow at that point. At this point, with all 6 slots taken up by 6 different types of arrow, you can keep a track of which one you're drawing when you draw it. If you try for going for like, we're gonna get some magic +2 arrows, or an arrow of slaying, or an arrow of ice magic, or whatever, like if you pick up more arrows, I will roll a percentage chance to see which arrow you're actually drawing each time you draw. I appreciate you expediting my weapons ahead of the backlog. You seemed like you need it more than the others. These ones are just kind of walking around town being bullies. It seems like you might actually be doing some work for the town to cause an end to this war, and so I figured yours was probably more important. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's commission a second quiver. Happy to give us 5 more silver as thanks for expediting. Let her use the silver for the war effort, though hopefully we are going to finish that problem for her soon. If you want to, if that's what people vote to do, I'm happy to give her an extra tip. Give her some of the, give her some more of the money. We've only got 1 sleep arrow. Once we've used that, we've got a spare open slot for more. Yeah, same. We've got 1 sleep arrow, 1 entangle arrow. Once we've used both of them, we've got more slots for more arrows. Is it still winter? It is winter, yes. How's your stock of silver going with all this silvering? Not good. I've used up everything that you gave me last night. There is slag still, silver slag, but there's not much I can do with that. It's the silver that she needs. We give her another silver. Alright, a lot of people saying give her another tip for expediting the process for you, so you give her another 5 silver and say, hopefully this can help out with that. And she takes it. She's very grateful and says, you're a good person. Thank you for your efforts, and Godspeeds to you, yes? You say, hopefully they do, yes. So you leave the blacksmith shop. You have your silvered arrows and your rapier back. Let's just double check. I don't think I took the rapier off. No, I didn't. There it is. So you have your rapier, and it is a silvered rapier. Does no more damage, but it does allow you to cut through the resistances of certain creatures now. Can we sit in the morning sun near her shop and play our panpipes imitating bird song to lift her spirits? You can certainly try, Spades. Let's find out. That is a 10 plus 4, 14. Yes, you're doing well. The more you play panpipes, maybe the better you become. You with the 14 panpipes, you play them. They are much more emulating panpipe music than birdsong, but it's still okay. It's a very simple melody. You're doing like a hot cross buns, da da da, 3 blind mice or something. But it is pleasant. You're hitting all of the right notes at the very least. What are you doing now? Anything else that you want to do in town? Do you want to go visit the Coltons? Do you want to ask about your horse that you left at the Coltons farm several months ago? Do you want to talk to Edith again? Do you want to go to the mayor's? Or are you fine with just moving on with Fang and Mini and learning about the hobgoblins as you as you head north. Horse is dead. Leave it. Coltons are on the way north. Not exactly on the way, but you can. They are northeast of Shadridge. You can go via the Colton's farm if you want. Arms is better served here. A horse isn't exactly stealthy for getting behind enemy lines. Yes, correct. Okay, so we head north-ish. We are we meet up with Fang and Mini and Charlie, and we start to head towards the north, towards the woods that become the Great Expanse. The first things you are noticing is that the path between here and the sister villages has been much more heavily walked, heavily traversed. You can also see that there are 2 guard towers on the way that are for first warnings of anything coming from the woods. There is there is an actual sand path that has been created up to the woods and slightly into the woods, and then it gives way to just like a very heavily traversed desire line with some of the trees chopped down as well to sort of create an obvious pathway that is not paved in any way. As you walk and talk, Fang tells you about the Hobgoblin structure. He says, so the Hobgoblin army, it's made up of, well, I shouldn't say Hobgoblin, I suppose, Goblinoid. The Goblinoid army are known as a host. Don't know how much you know about them. And you exposition like, I know I've encountered goblins before and like defeated them, and they were trying to work for this and this, and I left one of the goblins alive, interrogated him, but tied him to a tree. You broke some of his teeth, and I think you injured his leg, from memory. Maybe I have to go back and check. You left one of the goblins alive, tied to a tree, and then you went back later and found evidence of the rope having been cut and the goblin escaping, and there were tracks leading from there towards the north into the Great Expanse, tracks of sabatoned feet, heavily armoured footwear. And so you ascertained later that they related to the same footprints as Grobok and a couple of the other armoured hobgoblins that you met. And so it was probably the hobgoblins that captured or reclaimed or saved this goblin that was tied to the tree. He explained all of this, and he goes, all right, well, then you're aware that the hobgoblins are working with the goblins then. Basically, the goblinoids call themselves a host, and then the hobgoblins, who are the ones mostly in charge of the host, they are the ones to organize structure within that. They call themselves banners. Every different group within the host is a banner. So the majority of the host is made up of a banner that they call the Pride. The Pride is basically the Hobgoblin grunt force. It is the infantry. It is the majority numbers. Then they've got a banner called the Indestructibles. That's the one I was telling you about yesterday. They're basically the tanks. They are sent in to absorb most of the hits. They are mostly were creatures. The one, what did you say your friend's one was called? Mesh or something? Mosh, yeah. Mosh is with the Indestructibles. Then they've got a banner called the Masters. I'm obviously translating this from Goblinoid for you. But there's a host that they call them the Masters. A banner that they call the Masters, which are basically monsters and their respective wranglers, if that makes sense. There's a bunch of like forest monsters in the Great Expanse that have been an issue for the people of Shadridge for some time. The people of the Four Sisters, of course, as well. And those monsters, displaced beasts and the like, they have been, I wouldn't say domesticated, but forced into servitude, I guess. And the hobgoblins, among their number, are the people that can handle certain monsters and use them, turn them on their enemies. The banner that does so is called the Masters. Then we've got a banner called the Quick Feet, which are basically, to be honest, they're basically just meat shields. The they're sort of like infantry when the infantry are running low on numbers, and they're predominantly goblins. That is the purpose that a goblin army serves usually in the hobgoblin host is just they're more expendable. Goblins breed like rabbits, and there's a lot of them. Hobgoblins just throw the goblins at the problem and use their numbers, kind of like the same way that the demons do, to be honest. Don't want to put you in a difficult position, but where did you get all of this intel? I've been searching the forest for you for a while, and searching them for information on the demons, and so I've been working with the hobgoblins for a little bit of that. I've met most of these banners or representatives of them, and so mostly firsthand. Okay. Quick rate, how many banners so far? 12. Incorrect. Is there a Sasquatch amongst them? I don't know what that is, sorry. Like a very hairy person, like one of the were animals? No, one of the monsters. Is there a Never mind. If you don't know it, you don't know it, I guess. Before we get too deep into enemy territory, as it were, I wanted to get your thoughts on how exactly we're going to be closing these portals. I've got a jar of holy water for that purpose, but I'm not entirely certain how I'm to use it. Because the holy water is going to be the brunt of the force here. The majority of the effort will be handled by that, as long as we can utilize it properly. The less demonic influence that we can have around the portal, the more chance we have of closing that portal. Demon portals, they open so very rarely on this plane of existence, thankfully, that they tend not to stay open long enough for a demon to pass through them. When they do stay open long enough for a demon to pass through them, that demon often is dealt with by some kind of, sometimes even just the terrain or the difficulties of where they come through. And when not in those circumstances, the demon is dealt with by the local law enforcement or something. On the rare occasion that a demon portal opens on this plane of existence, happens to stay open long enough for a demon to get through this plane of existence, and a demon happens to come through that is too powerful to be dealt with and lives long enough to cause havoc on this plane of existence, that is when you get stability in the demon portal. Because that demon can cause chaos and evil and all of the things that makes this side of the portal look more like the other side of the portal. And as such, it completes those portal parameters, and the portal stays open. So in order to close one, you need to make this side look as little like the abyss side as you can. Which means taking out any demons that are guarding the portal, any demons that are within any sort of close proximity of the portal, and then consecrating the ground that has been desecrated by demons. One of the biggest problems that people face when there has been a demon attack is that demons linger. Even after you've killed them, they turn into a black ichor of sorts, as you know from the blood that you harvested from the succubus. The demons have a way of immediately desecrating the ground that they land on, especially if their ichor touches the ground. That ground becomes desecrated and unholy. It leads to, in Ox's case, with Ox's demons, it leads to more instances of necromancy. So in order to counteract that, that's where the holy water comes in. Basically, the idea is we get close to the portal as we can, we kill as many of the demons as we can, then we use the holy water to clean up the area as much as we can. As soon as the holy water has done its job, we have closed off this side of the portal, then the other side closes by, domino effect. Does that make sense? Is it worth separating it amongst ourselves so that if one of us goes down, we don't lose it all? Yeah, it's certainly wise, yeah. But of course, then, if not all of us make it, then we've got less of it to work. How much did you say you've got? You get it out and you show him. I mean, that's a decent amount, a litre or so, right? Yeah, about a litre, I think. All right. Is it enough to get the job done? Is there? Can we use this for multiple different portals? I wouldn't say that we need to close all of the other portals. As I said before, as soon as we close the big one, all of the reinforcements from the demon planes stop coming through that one. We stop seeing demons in the presence of the other ones. The other ones are kind of opening just by nature of the fact that as the big one is pouring out more demons, more of this land is starting to look like the demon plains, and so more of the portals are happening to open and stay open. Once we cut off their supply of reinforcements, fewer demons on this place means that we can start to clear up the ones that are here, and then the portals that are here are less stable. Can we just cleanse the area with prestidigitation then if we lose the holy... No. You underestimate the power of the desecration of demon blood. It is far beyond any sort of cleaning. It desecrates the very material, the very atoms of this plane. So we need to close them all though, right? Because otherwise they just move to one of the other portals and that becomes one of the bigger portals. Possible. It's possible, yeah. We should obviously not rest. Like, it needs to be an all-out attack all at once, which is why we need to talk to the Hobgoblins that we're going to now. When we close the big portal, they need to deal with any demons that are around the smaller ones. We need to go on the offensive, essentially. Like, everyone that is capable of swinging a weapon needs to have it ready to go when we close the big portal, because then we cleanse out the demons that exist still, and we can close the portals at that point. The small ones aren't stable. Here's the thing that I've learned so far. I've not seen them myself yet, and partly because they're not stable. They are opening in certain areas that we know where the small ones are opening, but they are sort of winking in and out like the weather, like a rainy day, which you get drizzle and then it stops and then it comes back and then it stops, and it's kind of the same way with these smaller portals. As far as we know, as far as the intel's shown us, there is nothing guarding the small portals, which means there is not a constant presence of demonic nature on this side of the plane. The reason the big one is open is that something is clearly guarding it. Something is clearly stationed at the entrance to that portal, which is keeping it open. If we were to throw some of the water through the portal, would that help weaken the... Not advisable, no. You throw water through the portal, you might as well throw water into the ocean and say that the ocean's now holy. That's just... It would do so little for the plane of evil. You can't cleanse... It's like dipping a turd in water trying to clean off the shit. It's not going to happen, right? The whole thing is shit. It's the same with the abyss. The entire plane itself is evil incarnate. It's like living evil. You can't cleanse that with a bit of holy water. You cleanse this side of the demon because this side is not inherently fundamentally evil. So you're cleaning off the evil. I heard that the clerics have been pretty much hunted down by the demons. Is there some way is there a way someone could be taught to produce more holy water? We're working on that. That's something that the people of Fondurg are working on, as far as I understand. Why do you think they've decided to invade? What's their goal? They don't need goal. Chaotic demons incarnate. They're goal oriented. They do what they want to when they want to do it on a whim. They're led by their own instinct in the moment, and that's pretty much it. Orcus is a little more forward planning than that, and his goal is to extinguish all life. I'm not going to get into the reasons for that, but basically, in a nutshell, it's because he had a falling out with the gods of life, the life domain, and was deciding to get rid of them all. So, as I was saying, there's the quick feet, which are the goblin mooks, essentially, the ones that they throw at the problem until they disappear. You've got... Now, I haven't met a representative of this one, but they call them the Whispers. As far as I've been able to tell, the Whispers are a somewhat secret specialist kind of banner among the Hobgoblin host that are basically ambushers, a bunch of bugbears and shadow assassins. They'll get in and take out high-value targets and get out again. They work best on stealth missions and things, as far as I know, which is probably why they've been a little loath to tell me too much about them. And then finally, there's a very small banner that got even smaller since the loss of Grobok and a couple others that are basically hunters. They call them the Hunters, and they're basically seekers of sorts. They seek out information. They're information gatherers, and they seek out people that might be high target influence. You, Apis, have had a run-in with the Hunters, or the Seekers. That is because they are the ones that tried to capture Mosh, thinking that he was a demon. And you fought them off. You killed one of them, captured the other, and managed to calm things down enough to explain what the situation was and the fact that you weren't demons. Grobok left. Grobok was with you for a while, and then you let him go. And then you later found out that Grobok was a demon with his hand missing and stuff. However, while Grobok was with you, you went to Munglofau and you tested for demons. You did your primeval awareness thing that you do as a Horizon Walker Ranger, and you got a ping back that no, there was no demons in the area. So either Grobok was hiding the fact that he was a demon, or at the time that you met him, he was not a demon. We didn't kill the other one, he ran? Yeah, I couldn't remember whether you let him escape or not. Yeah, I think the other one ran away, I think you're right. At this point, you've been walking and talking for some time, enough time that the path starts to end. You're just trying to find and pick your way through the forest at this point now. But before you get into deep undergrowth woods, you see a small shack. A small shack that has been established at some point relatively recently. You can tell that it's not only a week standing, but it's also not been here for years. You can tell that it's only a couple months old, probably. And outside of this small shack is an anvil, a few other discarded pieces of weaponry. There's all sorts of indications that this might be a blacksmith shop, but it's very strange that it's way out here in the middle of nowhere, essentially. There is smoke coming from the chimney, though. And you have heard that there is a reclusive blacksmith that lives in the woods nearby that works on... sorry, not a blacksmith, a weaponsmith that lives pretty reclusively but works on very rare exotic materials. Sure enough, Fang points it out and says, "This is Tiberius's house. He's a tabaxi that works on exotic material weapons. If you want anything particular, if you've got weird exotic weapons or if you've got exotic materials for him to turn into a weapon, if you want anything specific, you can commission it from him. But I will tell you, he's expensive and eccentric, and his work takes quite a lot of time. So feel free to have a chat if you need anything. Otherwise, we'll keep going to the Hobgoblins. We've got some weird exotic stuff. Could give it to him. Let's have a look what you've got. You have a boar tusk. You could potentially turn that into a weapon of some kind. You have That's it. Because you gave, you've got a gigantic crow feather as well. It's again from one of those hybrids, one of those dragon hybrids. We need an upgraded bow. No more commissions. We never pick them up. No, you've commissioned a. You have commissioned a green dragon bracer that you didn't pick up. You've commissioned boots of elven kind, which you didn't pick up. You commissioned a couple of arrows that you did pick up. The entangle arrow and the sleep arrow you both commissioned. I think those. I think we're good. Bit busy at the moment. We have enough stuff laying around to pick up at a later date. Yeah. If we do give him stuff, we'll give him a code word to remember so he doesn't give it to the wrong person. Wouldn't have helped you. Apis, the fake Apis knew a lot about you, including things like what your code word would have been. So fake Apis would have been able to give the real code word. Shall we just see if he has anything interesting for sale that we can get immediately? For argument's sake, then you pop your head into his store and realize it is not a store. It is basically like a very small waiting room, kind of like the size of a hole-in-the-wall takeaway shop that's got like a couple of chairs there. And there is a bell that says ring for service, and you realize this guy doesn't sell things. He's not a shop. If he was a shop, he wouldn't live out here in the middle of nowhere. He is someone that you come to when you want something specific commissioning. He doesn't just make things for sale. He waits until somebody wants him and he is in demand. Like somebody will harvest some roper eyeball and then take it to him and be like, "Can you commission this roper eyeball into a XYZ for me?" And then he works on that and he gives it back to them when they come for it. He doesn't just sell random stuff. So you're like, okay, well, I don't need anything right now, so we'll come back another time if we need anything. You think we could just give him weird stuff and commission things in under 5 minutes? What do you think? Let's see. I'm gonna roll all of my d20s, and if they're all nat 20s, then he will absolutely be able to commission something for you in less than 5 minutes. Oh man, it was so close. There was a 1 in 160,000 chance that he would have actually just given you. Can you imagine if that was actually all 20s? Hero point? Hero point to reroll all of them? So you move on from Tiberius and start heading further into the woods, a little bit deeper into the woods. You're starting to lose the path tremendously now, and as you get closer and closer to where Helwerin would have been, you start seeing evidence of elves in the area. There is a lot of markings in Druidic on the trees that you don't speak because you're not a Druid. You don't speak Druidic, but you recognize them because you've been around Druids before and they've sort of pointed certain symbols out to you and things. So you see some Druidic in the area. You also see that there is evidence of some irrigation being used on a small plot of land. So there's obviously something being grown here. There's a couple of shacks that have been hastily created, but you're not close enough to where Helwerin should be. Instead, you are in a smaller town that has been erected, and I cannot remember the name of it. Elves, there it is. You arrive at the town of Driftrosto. Driftrosto, good luck on spelling that for the notes, Wraith, is a town that has been erected as sort of a fifth sister to the Four Sisters. Fang gives you a little bit of a lowdown on it as he explains, this is Driftrosto. Basically, it's the refuge for most of the people who did not stay in Arachel. Many of the elves from the Four Sisters, Munglofau, Helwerin, and Dolben Illawad, they either fled home, they fled to Arachel, or they came down to Shadridge, and everybody else came here and set up a new village. So as you're walking in, you meet Trell, who is a head guard who used to be the head guard at Munglofau. He's a drow fella. You can also see coming into the village from the other side with a small pig over his shoulder. You can see Verin, who also lives in Driftrosto now. Verin is an ally of yours, a hunter, a warrior, quite patient and kind gentleman. One of the people who were more welcoming to you when you helped out the sister villages. It is Driftrosto. It's all one word, and it is spelt like that. It's the Four Sister offshoot. It's like a cousin village. Yeah, it's the Four Sisters and the cousin. Correct. Verin is the gentleman who taught you how to do Hunter's Mark. You can also see that working outside of a little shop of sorts, a little hut with a very small patch of land in front of her little wooden hut, you meet Talila again. Talila is a female elf, an alchemist, a cook, a tinkerer, a gardener, very intelligent, and speaks very little common. And of the people that you'd previously met, you would also see that heading his way south towards that small plot of land that has been irrigated, you sort of pass Githrin on the way. Githrin is the head cultivator from Dolben Iluad, a follower of Yulashti, the goddess of plant life, and the one that's in charge of growing the prince elves, the prin flowers. Is that the boot lady, Talila? Yes, Talila is the one you commissioned the boots from and did not pick them up. Forgot we were trying to learn Elven at one point. You were trying to learn Elven at one point because partly because Talila does not speak much Common. We're still sort of learning Elvish. It's on a back burner. Yeah, you just haven't learned it in months. So, what do you want to do here in Driftrosto, if anything? If not, Fang says happy to keep moving through, happy to head towards the Hobgoblins. They're a little more to the north. They're occupying Helwerin now as their main military village. Were the boots handed down to an elf child, or does she still have them? You can ask if you want. See if you can pick up those boots. So we're going to see if we can get the boots. Did Charlie read the druid signs? Yeah, you can point them out to Charlie, and Charlie will explain what they are. They were basically indications. Druidic is often just simple signs that you can put on the trees or in various cairns and things as a way of just telling other druids what is in the area. Like some of them are like boars spotted nearby, and some of them are like there's a stream this way. Others are like this part is there's good shelter. There's good shelter 2 clicks to the east of here. Blah blah blah, like simple symbols and things to help people survive in the wilderness if you know what to look for. So he translates them, but they're just signposts essentially. We walk past Talila and say, "Hey, good to see you again. Good to see you again." Because if you speak louder and slower, foreign people understand you. Good to see you again. I was wondering if you have the boots that are commissioned. And she goes, Apis. Good to see you. I have You had boots here. You pay for boots with you get boots from and she says a word to herself in Elvish. Girlfriend? And Charlie's like, what were you trying to say? And she goes, and she speaks to him in Elvish, and he turns and translates to you and says, she gave your boots to a friend of yours, and she asked if you've got the boots back. And you're like, which friend? And he turns and translates a little bit. And she comes back and says, she gave your boots to Mosh, it sounds like. Someone meeting Mosh's description. Says, oh, well, if Mosh has got my boots, we're on our way to see him anyway, so hopefully he's still got them. Yes, apparently she give your boots to someone of Mosh's description, who claimed to be collecting them on your behalf. Mosh is totally your girlfriend. Yeah. Did she get the gender correct, girlfriend? She said girlfriend, though I'm confused. Yeah, she doesn't speak common very well. Did I not get that across clearly? She remembered the word for friend as girlfriend, as in French. Mi ami is my could be my girlfriend or my friend. Mi petite amie, my little friend, could be my girlfriend. And in German, it's similar. Like you can mein Freund is my friend, but it's also my partner. She was just mistranslating and said girlfriend. Mosh didn't know about the boots. It might be the changeling. Might be the changeling. But then why would he have become Mosh to get the boots? Who was with us when we gave her the boots? You'll have to look that up yourself. I'm not sure exactly. Try not to act furious. I think Rob's trying to train us to stop making commissions. I'm trying to train you to stop making commissions and then going to a different plane of existence for 8 months. All these commissions, and what have we gotten? Just a cloak and millions of arrows. You did commission this very useful cloak of displacement. Find out when we got the boots. Maybe they had to be Mosh because they were already discovered as Fopus. Perhaps. Could always use more arrows. Negative 100 votes. We didn't intend to leave for 8 months. That was the Archfey Council's doing, Rob. Don't blame us for them not caring about stopping the demon army. Archfey don't give a shit about the mortal plane getting attacked by demons. Why would they? Can we commission another pair and ask for lodgings until they're done? We'll just stay here. We should get matching boots with our girlfriend. Yeah. This damn changeling. Hope turning into a zombie or whatever just happened won't influence the DMing any. Yeah, I'll still be able to DM as a zombie. How did she improve the boots, by the way? She turned them into boots of elven kind, which gives you advantage on stealth checks related to sound and walking quietly. Could always get Charlie to ask if they have anything else for sale. Charlie, could you see if Talila has anything else for sale? And he goes, sure. And he asks her if she's got anything for sale. Is there anything particular that you're interested in? Potions, rings, rods, staffs, wands, weapons, things that will increase armor, things that will do extra damage, utility items, miscellaneous, random cool stuff. What I'm hearing is we need to loot a pair of boots that we want. We have Pass Without a Trace, which gives you +10 to stealth. Yeah, so advantage and +10. Never gonna go poorly on stealth. A better set of stealth boots than the one she made. Just see if she's got some for sale. Health potions always welcome. You've still got 2 health potions, I think. Stealth boots, AC upgrade, and communication. All the things that would have been perfect for this particular mission, for fuck's sake. Is our ring silvered? It is not, actually. Anything that would be useful for going behind enemy lines with as little fuss as possible. How are we doing in healing potions? You've got 2 healing potions, I think. Also, Mini has Pass Without a Trace, yes. As a shadow monk. Alright, let's see what she's got. Let's go with... let's look for some random items, shall we? She would not have anything of very rare or rarer. So let's go with wondrous items, and let's look for some uncommon wondrous items. She might have some. Tell you what I'll do. I'll roll a percentage check to see what she has. Chances that she has an uncommon magic item for sale is... She She's in the middle of a war. She's doing things for the war effort. She's spent some time enchanting some stuff. It's not that high likelihood. I'll say 50% chance. That is a 10, so she does have an uncommon item. The chance that she has a second uncommon item is, I'm going to say 20%. That is a 12, so she does. She has 2 uncommon magic items. Chances that she has a third magic item is only a 6% chance. Oh, I thought I got it then because I got a 6 on one and a 0 on the other, but it was the other way around. It's a 60. So she does not have a third. So she's got two random uncommon magic items. The chance she has a rare magic item is 10%. I got a 70. So she does not have anything of rare. And then the chance she has some common magic items lying about, pretty good, 60%. I got a 96. She doesn't have any commons. So she's got 2 uncommon magic items that she would be willing to sell. Let's see what she's got. Does she have any pie? Oh yeah, the pies would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'll say she's got a pie. A good way of including that. Wouldn't that be cool? Didn't get around to including it in my document yet, so I wasn't sure where I was going to include it. Boots. Magic item rules. Where's the random magic item table? That's in the Dungeon Master's Guide. In fact, why not go for the real one? Dungeon Master's Guide. Treasure. Haven't opened this book in a while. Don't need to use it now. I'm reliant on D&D Beyond, but nice to open actual books. Magic items. Treasure hoard. Random magic items. Okay. We'll go on this one. And we'll go with a D100. That is 60 again. 60 again is a 3rd level spell scroll. So I will see what spell scroll she has inscribed. And then a potion of water breathing. So she has a potion of water breathing and a 3rd level spell scroll. Now let me go to my spells tab, D&D Beyond, and see random third level magic item. What's a pie? A pie is something that Cinder's redeemed using, wouldn't it be cool? Yes. And it adds pi to a roll. You eat it and then you add pi to a roll. So as in you add 3.14159 to a roll. So if you roll a 6, it becomes a 9.14159. It was redeemed in honor of Pi Day, 14th of March. Game rules. Spells. View all. Internet's going slow. Spell level 3. Filter. Okay. 3rd level spells. How many tabs are there? 4, which means 80 or less. So I will get a random generated number from 1 to 80. Excuse me. How many? Yeah, it's about 80, give or take. All right, random number generator 1 to 80. RNG 80. Does Google just do that for me? 17. Okay, 17 was picked, which means it is going to be a spell scroll of 20, 19, 18, 17. Daylight. That could actually be really useful against necrotic demons and zombies. A 3rd level spell scroll of Daylight. Daylight is a cleric, druid, paladin, ranger, sorcerer spell. A 60-foot radius sphere of light spreads out from a point you choose within range. The sphere is bright light and sheds dim light for an additional 60 feet. If you choose a point on an object you're holding or one that isn't being worn or carried, the light shines from the object and moves with it. Completely covering that affected object with an opaque object such as a bowl or a helmet blocks the light. If any of the spell's area overlaps with an area of darkness created by a spell of 3rd level or lower, the spell that created the darkness is dispelled. It's a range of 60 feet and lasts for an hour without concentration. That's pretty cool. So, you ask her about, through a translator of Charlie, you ask her, has she got anything for sale, any things she's worked on? Through a bit of back and forth with translations and stuff, she says that she is, that's scribing, potions, 3rd level, scroll, buying it wholesale, because you're buying it pretty much straight from the person who's made it. She says that she is willing to sell you the scroll for, let's roll you a persuasion check. You've had good chats with her before, so you're on her good side. She's probably going to give you mates rates if she can afford to. Let's take the d20, head to dice cam. 13 plus 1 from persuasion is 14. 14 is above average but still not fantastic. So she says that she would be willing to sell you the 3rd level scroll for 65 gold pieces. 65 gold for a 3rd level spell scroll. The potion of water breathing is, I think, similar. Let's see. Potion of blah blah blah. A common consumable. Uncommon consumable. Water breathing is uncommon, right? Potion of water breathing. Magic items. Cap of water breathing is uncommon, so a potion's probably maybe even common. Potion. I'll say potion of, yeah, it's probably somewhere between this and this then. So a potion of consumable, somewhere around there. I'll put it at 40. 65 gold for the scroll and 40 for the potion of water breathing. And if you buy either one, she'll throw in a pie. Can we haggle that down to however many gold pieces we have? We kind of already did with the persuasion check. We have 61 gold, but we have 1 platinum, which is 10 gold. So you have 71 gold and 30 silver, which is 3 gold. Plus, need I remind you, you have 161 platinum stored in the woods not far from here. You are far from poor. What was the scroll? Scroll of Daylight. Which is not sunlight. Refer to Robert Rance for more on that. Ask Fang if the scroll would be useful when we get to the portal. He says, most definitely, yeah. The portal parameters for the abyss would almost certainly be dark and gloomy. And so whatever we encounter is probably going to be dark, dim, and gloomy. A scroll of very bright daylight is probably very useful for the vibe. I don't think this will be useful, says Wraith, as one of the NPCs is actively saying this will definitely be useful without a doubt. What was the second item she had? A potion of water breathing. Alright, thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we buying the scroll? We have enough to buy the scroll on us right now. It will take up pretty much all of our gold, but we can buy the scroll if we want to. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Alright, unanimous yes so far. Okay, so we are going to mark off that 1 platinum and then mark off 55 gold. 55 from that leaves 6. All right, so we have purchased a potion. Let's put it in the inventory. Potion, and it is not a scroll. We didn't potion. Sorry, we went for the scroll. We've purchased a scroll. Is it in here? No. Books. Open book. Letter. Map. Maybe letter is. I don't know if is a scroll one of these things. Valuables. Scroll. No. Trophies. Do we not have a potion? A magic scroll? Yeah. Rope, paper. Add paper scroll. There you go. That works. It is under paper, everybody, which is under gear. Remind me that next time I need a scroll. All right, so we have a scroll, a spell scroll of daylight, and she is happy to hand that over. We hand over the cash. We are feeling a lot lighter on our cash now. She asks if we want to buy the water breathing potion as well, and we say, I'm afraid we can't afford that right now, but maybe once I've been to my bank, my river bank. She also gives us a little bit of, let's see. What's going to look like a little bit of a pie? Honey jar, mess kit, rations, water skin. I don't know if any of this is going to look anything like a pie. We don't have anything that looks like a pie in the inventory, so maybe we just have to remember. We need to not do that thing where we never use it because we're waiting for the perfect moment forever. Yeah. If that changeling knows about the stash, then it might be too late. It might be. What's that letter with the seal on it? I don't remember that. This is why we really need to be able to add writing to the inventory at some point. I don't remember. Somebody in chat will remember. Why do we have 2 rations? One is pie. We could do that. Yeah, we could just have a. There you go. I'll give us a second rations. Food rations. And we'll put it over here with the magic items. This rations is a pie, and the pie, once consumed, lets us add 3.141592653589793 to a roll. This thing in the lower left looks like a pot pie. That is a bowl of powdered metal, which is a component of one of the spells that we cast, the protection from good and evil, which we could probably do with more of, to be honest, because I think we've only got like 4 or 5 uses of that left. We can go to the stash on the way back after this mess is sorted. Don't really need the money until afterwards anyway. That's fair. Next minute you come across something that you need water breathing for. The letter is our healing permit. Thank you, Aerie, for the reminder. Yes, the letter is the thing that allows us temporary usage of using healing magic. Healing magic is necromancy, and necromancy is illegal. So you need a permit from the government to say that you are authorized to use healing magic without being arrested for it. And you went through you were given basically an expedited one that's just like, look, this is a temporary one. You'll have to do it properly. You have to get your proper permit after the war is over, but for now we need all the healers we can. So here's your permit. Talila's the one who helped us with protection. Let's get some more powder while we're here. All right, we could do so if we want. Thalila is the one who helped us with that spell. She did, yeah. Thalila helped us to learn the protection from good and evil, and she explained the spell. So while you're here, you're like, more of this? And she says, sure. She's willing to obviously grind up some iron and some silver for you. She's been doing that a lot. She's got like a workstation that's for it, so she's already got some ready. She can give you it. She can give you, I'll say, 1 use per. Let's see, because of the time that goes into it. 1 use per gold is what she's willing to sell you it for. I think you've got 4, so let me. It might be 5. So let me roll any dice, and if it's odds, it's 5. If it's evens, it's 4. Evens. You've got 4 uses currently, so you could buy 6 more uses and take you up to 10 uses of it. You could even buy 9 more uses with the amount of money you've got on you. How far is our stash? Walking distance from here, it would take like an hour to walk to. And then you'd be able to walk back again. And it's still early at this point. It's like noon at most. Can't stay for too long, so it's probably more of a concern of how fast she can do it more than how many we can afford. She's like making it constantly. She's like, whenever she's not doing... Talila's the sort of ADHD brain of like, I'll do this task and I'll hyper-focus on it, and then I've got this other stuff that I'm working on, and she'll like, whenever she needs a break from this, she goes, oh yeah, I'll do this. And so she's always working. Who knows what that's like. But she's working on various different things. So she's got this station set up for like grinding up more powder because people are wanting this protection from good and evil spell a lot. And so she's grinding up powder, and then when she's not working on that, she needs a break from doing something monotonous. So she works on like making a scroll, and then she's outside tinkering, and she's gardening, and she's working on all of this stuff. Always working on a million different things and never quite finishing any of them. So she has some of this usage. She has some of the powder to be sold if you want to buy it. Question is, do we buy all of it? Do we spend all 9 gold that we have left, 6 gold and 3 silver, 30 silver? Do we spend all 9 gold on 9 more uses of the powder? Or do we not? You can put thumbs up, thumbs down, yes, no. And if it's only a couple of hours round trip, we should go to our stash and replenish some of our money. Instead of spending potentially all of our money, let's go check the stash first. If the cash is there or it's not, we need to find out. That's fair enough. All the gold but not the silver. Get 6 more uses, 2 more uses. Keep the silver by 2, only 2. By 3. All right, so people are saying definitely not all 9, but people are saying like let's spend a couple. So we've got 4 uses currently. Let's spend. Let's go with the sort of the average of what people were saying. 2, 3, and 6. People were mostly saying. So let's spend 3. We spend 3 gold and buy 3 more uses of the powder. We are up to 7 uses of the powder. You're going to have to remind me that when we need it, when we need to use it. Hopefully I can afford to pay Fancy what she's worth so that she can actually put the effort into coding this such that we can actually write things on the inventory, things like number of stuff and what everything is, because I've got 2 different red potions and I don't know if they're both light healing potions or greater healing potions. I've got 2 water vials that I'm not 100% sure what they are. Various things get forgotten, so we do need to eventually fix this. But that takes a lot of coding, and coding is expensive and time-consuming. So once I can afford that, I will be hiring Fancy to fix this up a bit more. All right. In the meantime, you have 7 uses of this powder, and you are within a couple hours walk, within 1 hour's walk, and back again of the stash. So. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you want to go visit your stash before you move on? You tell Fang, hey, wait here. I've got something to do. I'll be back in 2 hours. And you go grab your money if your money is still there. And by doing so, we could also buy that water breathing potion if we needed. If our stash is already gone, it makes no difference. If we fail, it makes no difference. We don't need money till after we finish this. All right, majority saying yes. Let's go visit it. See if we can carry this money around with us. So you tell everybody wait here. I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. I need to go do some business in the woods. Charlie's like, are you sure this is very dangerous and stupid? And you're like, I'm fine. I'll be fine. I can handle myself. Charlie's like, all right. Good luck, I suppose. And you head off into the woods on your own. Cough, Minnie has a water breathing potion. Why? No idea. Do you have Minnie's character sheet? And she has a water breathing potion? Okay. Wouldn't mind taking Charlie, lol. Take Mel. Mel's coming with you. Mel always comes with you. I do, yes. Okay, Minnie has a water breathing potion for some reason, but regardless, you say goodbye to these people. Farewell for now. I'll be right back. And then you, with Mel, set off into the woods, keeping an eye on, like, making sure you're not being followed, hopefully. Let's go off into the woods on our own in the middle of a war with demons. Yeah, nothing could go wrong. So I'm just going to roll for something just randomly. I'm sure it's nothing to do with anything that's happening currently. Cool. Good to know. Do you want to use any spells, such as Pass Without a Trace, to try and get into the woods without being followed? Investigation check for anyone who's following. I'll get to that. This feels like a really bad idea. What if we run into an ambush? Some money's not necessarily right now. Definitely not the smartest idea, but too many neurons worried about the money. That's realistically how we act on bad ideas. That is exactly what happens. Regret has immediately set in. Yes to Pass Without a Trace. Okay, so we set off into the woods. You get not too far into the woods before you feel like now's as good a time as any to pass without a trace. You regulate your breathing. You see the shadows starting to sway in and then wave back out again and get closer with each breath. And on the last one, they cling to you, surround you, deaden your footsteps and the sounds that you are making. I will have you roll a stealth check with a +10. You are proficient in stealth and you have a +3 dex, which means you got a +6 normally, so now it's a +16. I need you to roll and add 16. Ooh, that rocked about between 1 and everything else before. That is a 5. 5 plus 16 is a 21. Cool. So as you 21 stealth through the forest with your bee companion following, you are in the forest. So yes, I will allow for a forest bonus. In fact, I won't allow for a forest bonus because it says #vote for Wraith in the reminder, and I'm not going to allow for a vote for Wraith on the vote day because you need to vote for Robert. So because it says vote for Wraith, you're not going to get forest bonus. So that is a 21 stealth check. I'm just messing. You will get forest bonus. So you get forest bonus because you are walking through a forest. That's how it works in my games. I increase the abilities of rangers a little bit to make them a little bit more punchy. And so anything that is applicable to you being able to benefit from knowing this terrain really well benefits from your forest bonus, as forest is your favourite terrain. So that means you get to add your proficiency bonus again, or I never fucking remember how forest bonus works. You get to add a flat +2, or is it something like that? You get to roll with advantage. What is it? How does forest bonus work? How do I always forget this? Shrug, says Wraith, who is literally the one that the forest bonus is named after. +48, +1,000,000, +69. Okay, none of you are going to help me out here. Proficiency bonus is doubled. Okay, thank you, Milsey. Natural Explorer is relevant here. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. Your group can't become lost by magical means, except when you're engaged in another even when you're engaged in another activity while traveling. You remain alert to danger. If you're traveling alone, you can move stealthily at a normal pace. Cool. So you are moving stealthily at a normal pace, and you are engaged in another activity such as tracking or checking for not being trapped. Cool, and you have a +3 to that. So instead of a 21, it's a 24. With a 24, stealth. You stealth off into the woods. Mel B, however, with a Buzzy B and disadvantage on stealth checks, she could land on you. So I will give her not disadvantage because you're going to carry her through the woods. That is going to be an 18 plus her stealth, which is a 4 because she's got really high dex. So 22. 22 and 24. And she's riding on her perch, which is on your bag. After an hour of wandering through the woods and whatnot, she also gets passed without a trace. Yes, I added. She rolled an 8, added 10 for the pass without a trace, and then her +4 dexterity. As you are walking through the woods, you are finding easily the path to the river where you hid your stash. You get all the way to your stash. You find the rock that signifies the edge of the river bend where you stashed your money. You get down, making sure you weren't followed as much as you can. Get down and stick your hand into the hole at the base of the rock, and the mossy plug is still in there. And you pull the mossy plug out. Would I do that, Rafe? And as you look in to see if the money is still there, that is where we will see that the money is still there. You pull out the leather pouch that is all wrapped up, and you can hear that there's money clinking inside of it. You open up the leather pouch, and there is quite a lot of gold and silver that you have stashed here previously. If you remember, the 191 platinum pieces was a summarization of how much monetary value there is in the coins in here. But it is not all platinum. It is gold and silver and some copper. I don't remember exactly. We'll have to go back to the moment that you actually stashed this here to check. But there is a lot of coins, which is exactly why you did not want to carry it around with you. Because inventory isn't just magical, like it just is always on you. You have, in this game, been robbed more than once. People do pickpocket. When you go to cities, people are willing to break into your room while you're sleeping and steal your inventory. Like, I make this a real living environment of there is danger to carrying all of your money on you at all times, which is exactly why you stashed it in the first place. So it's up to you how much you want to take with you. I will tell you, though. In fact, I won't tell you. I'll give you a perception check or an investigation. I think you're better at perception. Forest bonus does not apply. That is a 9. 9 plus your perception is still pretty good, which is a +6, I believe. +5, rather. Yeah, +5. So 14. With a 14 perception check, you're pretty sure it's not all here. You take a little time. You do some counting. You're not going to count everything here because there's so much of it, but you do some rough, like, piles of stuff. And you can tell there is not 191 platinum here. How much there is exactly will come down to you actually having to count it. But for some reason, something or someone has taken some. Or it's disappeared, possibly. Within a world of magic, there's a lot of possibilities as to what's happened, but some of the amount is missing. Maybe take it, don't want it all on us, but if coming here let the changeling somehow know it exists because we thought of it and now it knows about all of that or something, it will come to steal it since it's still our identity, which is why they think it's us and it's rightfully their braces and stuff. Maybe. I will hunt down that changeling. Fake Apis knows too much. Shove as much of it in our quiver as we can, focus on the platinum first, then the silver, then the gold, and then the copper. Put it in the quiver, are we taking it all? Alright, thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we taking it all, yes or no? I think we owed money on the boots. It might have been paid for the braces. It might. Take it all and find a new stash spot if any of it is missing. I definitely don't want all of it on us. Thumbs up, thumbs down for taking it all. Most people saying yes, let's take it all and find a new hiding spot for it. Okay, not unanimous, but definitely overwhelming majority saying yes, take it all of us. Take it all. Take it all. All right, so we will take it all. I will work out between sessions how much is actually still there and put that into the respective copper pieces, gold pieces and things for you. So you no longer have any amount stashed at the riverbank. 0 platinum pieces. And for the time being, I will put it down as 161 platinum because that's what you thought it was. But I will work that out before next time. If some of it's missing, this isn't a safe spot. That's the most probable cause is that something or someone has found this and taken some of it. But then the question is, why wouldn't they have taken all of it? The other possibility is that some of the coins disappeared in some way, which is also possible in a world of magic. There is some trickery bullshit that's happened to your coins or something. Anyway. You start carrying it with you. You put it in your quiver of holding, so that it doesn't clink around at least, so it doesn't clang and you don't make a hell of a lot of noise. You are, I'll say for the time being, until I work out exactly how many coins it was of each thing, I think you are able to store it all in the quiver. I'll have to work that out between sessions. And then you start to make your way back to the place you came from. It is a pass without a trace. How long does that last? It's an hour's walk, so I think Pass Without a Trace lasts an hour, doesn't it? Pass Without a Trace. Lasts for 1 hour concentration, so it lasted you pretty much until you got here, and then it ran out, and now you'll have to cast it again in order to go home if you want to. Do you want to cast it again? Most likely explanation is Fopus used our own money to pay for the braces. Those things were expensive, and if they were just hanging around the 2 towns, they wouldn't have had a more convenient source of money. Not like they'd bother working it with our stash conveniently there. That is possible. Alright, most people saying yes, let's pass without a trace once again, so that's what we will do. Pass without a trace, that is an 11 on the dice. 11 plus your forest bonus plus pass without a trace is a... What did we say your bonuses? It's normally a +6. So with forest bonus, that's a +9. With pass without a trace, that's a +19. That's a 30. So you get a 30 on your stealth. Mel, who is riding your backpack, gets a 12 plus 14 for her stealth, so that is a 26. So with a 26 and a 30, the two of you are very, very, very well stealthed on the way back. You concentrate on your stealth. You concentrate on the spell to keep it up, and as you start heading back towards the town of whatever that new town is called, Driftrosto. As you make your way back to Driftrosto, I'll have you make a perception check relating to the forest. So it does get forest bonus. Your perception check is a 6, which is garbage, but you do get forest bonus. Forest bonus from this is an 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. Let me check something real quick. Yes, okay. On your way back, you hear the sound quite distant, but you are concentrating on the stealth. You're concentrating on making no sound because you rolled really well with Pass Without a Trace. Your own sound is deadened. Any leaves and twigs you're stepping on are basically not cracking, and if they are cracking, they don't make any sound as they do so. And so everything around you is kind of deadened in the sound, which makes the sound carry a little further. You hear the sound of a goblin screeching in pain. You get closer to where you thought the sound was, and sure enough, you hear another goblin screeching in pain. And you get closer and closer, until you see, it hasn't seen you because of your intense stealth modifier there, but you see 2 goblins slain in a very small patch of woods just between 2 trees. A couple of goblins that have been slain, and one of them is just lying there dead as a full corpse. The other one has been half devoured, and you see a huge quadrupedal creature, kind of looks almost warg-like. It's got its back to you, but it is actively eating one of the goblins. You can tell from the material that the goblins are wearing that they are of this hobgoblin army. They are a part of the same goblinoid host that you've heard about in this area. They are probably part of the meat force, or the quick feet banner. Two of these goblins are dead. There are no other living goblins around them, and one of them is being feasted on by this large warg-like quadruped. What do you do? No one's alive. Let's get out of here. Let's Homer Simpson out of here and report what we've seen to the village. Literally meat force, it seems. Nothing we can do. Keep going. All right. So as you keep going, you head back to the village to report what you'd seen, and that is where we're going to pick up next time. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I will see you in episode 96. Bye. Hey there, I'm talking to you. You rock. Thank you for watching my stuff. Really appreciate it.